guys, I wanted to show y'all today how we do raindrop technique on our kids. So you can use raindrop for a multitude of reasons. You can use it just to maintain a really healthy immune system. It's just like a huge immune boost. So you can do it proactively like that. You can do it when your kids are sick, for sure. We definitely do that about every 12 hours. We'll do that if our kids are coming down with something. You can do it for pain, like back pain. It was originally created for someone with scoliosis, actually. And then you can also do it for like an emotional release or a detox. So there's a lot of really good uses. There's probably a lot more uses for the raindrop. And it's there are a lot of videos on YouTube, or I'm sure lots of places, for adults, and there are some for kids too, but I thought it'd be helpful if I kind of show you what we do, and hopefully it will empower you to feel comfortable doing this with your own kids. And this is what I call like the best kept immune boosting secret. It makes me feel really confident going into the fall, into sick season, or even if my kids come down with something, I immediately know that this is what we're going to be doing. So with kids, it's a tad bit different, and you usually start out with doing VitaFlex points on the feet, up and down the inside of the feet right here. For time's sake in this video, I'm not going to do that, and I honestly don't do it every time on my kids either. And so that is something you can also find on YouTube. And so the oils in the raindrop technique are kind of spicy hot oils, some of them. So for kids, I don't do this. You don't typically do this with adults unless they just have really sensitive skin. But with kids, I always just cover the whole back with carrier oil. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that. This is Young Living's V6 carrier oil. He put a thieves label on it, which is what you probably see there. So I cover his whole back with carrier oil first, and then basically, because of the amount of time kids like to lay still, or the amount of time you can get them to lay still in general, I don't do the full raindrop technique. So I'm going to show you what we do, and I hope it's helpful. So the first oil you start out with is Valor, and you drop a few drops from the bottom to the top of the back, just like that. Then you use your fingernails on the back with your hands, your palms facing up, and you lift that, baby. And you do what's called feathering. You feather out the oil like that. And when you're doing the full raindrop technique, it tells you to do about 3 inches 3 times up the back, then 6 inches 3 times up the back, then like big 12-inch feathers. With kids, like I said, sometimes you're going to be lucky to get them to lay still for any amount of time, and so I just make sure I do at least 3 times up the back with the feathering. So next is oregano oil, and it is an extremely hot oil. So with adults, you just drop it on just like I did the Valor. With kids, I do this. Put a little on your finger and then tap it up the back instead of putting full drops all the way up the back, and then feather just the same. Even with carrier oil, oregano, and a couple of the other oils can be pretty hot, and so I am careful not to do that. One more thing before we go on to the next oil, for you to be aware of, is that as you're doing the raindrop technique, most of the time you will see redness coming up on the skin or splotchiness, and that is completely normal. So don't freak out if that happens when you're giving your kid a raindrop. Sometimes it is because the oils may be spicy to the skin, but a lot of the time it's actually some of that infection or something coming to the top, and so you know it's actually really working. So I'm going to continue on using the oils, and we'll talk to you in a minute.
No, I'm not backing. I'll walk the line. I stay out the way. Yeah, never speak my mind. Living in a shade of gray. But the more I get to know me, the more you start to show me this isn't how it's meant to be. So I'll just keep on walking, and you can keep on talking. I'ma have to make a scene. Yeah. I played it safe, been afraid my whole life. Now things have changed, won't stay silent this time. No, I'm not backing down, no, you can't count me out. Nothing in this world gonna stop me now. No, I'm not backing down, no, I'm not backing down, down, down. No, I'm not backing. No, I'm not backing down. I've watched the game. I've stood on the sidelines.
Okay, so I finished applying the oils, and I wanted to show you his back. And lay flat, baby. So look, you can see some redness in here, and then also it's kind of hard to see, but I wanted to show you that there's oil on his back. And now lay still, baby. Now we are going to do. Okay, I'll scratch you. I'll scratch the flat. I wanted to show you the hot compress, and this is a really essential part of the raindrops. So with a hot compress, you have a dry towel that you put on their back first. Lay flat, baby. And then you have a warm towel that you lay on top, pretty much just right up and down the middle. And then you let it sit for really however long you want. With him, I always set a timer and make him stay for 5 minutes. And so a lot of people ask, will like a hot mat or a heating pad do the same thing, or things like that? And the answer is no. You want to do this kind of hot compress because the moisture from the warmth is what will drive the oils in really deep. And so I wanted to show you the oil on his back before, because when this comes off, there's actually, the oil's almost fully soaked in, all of it. And so with kids, with adults, it's obviously their preference. If they don't want the towel really hot, then you can do it a little warmer or more warm versus hot. But and then so the same with kids. This is just warm. It's not super hot, but I bet he still feels the warmth. Can you feel it?
Yeah.
Does it feel good? Good. So he'll leave this on for a few more minutes, and then I will show you the oil and how it's all soaked in. Okay, so it's been 5 minutes. Here, turn your back towards the camera.
Oh no! Oh no!
Turn your back. So, sit up really big. So you probably can't tell super well, but there's still some redness here, and all of that will go away, but there is really no residual oil on his back. So that's what the hot compress does, is it really drives it in. Thank you, baby. You can go if you want to. And so a couple more things I want to point out. Moms, if you are doing this and you have fingernail polish on your fingernails, these oils will probably take your fingernail polish off. So just be aware of that. And then, hang on, baby. And then we try to do this, especially, like I said, a little bit more proactively in like the fall and sick season. But for sure before we go to like big family gatherings on the holidays or things like that. So anyway, if you have any questions, please reach out. I hope that this was valuable and that you feel really confident giving your kids a raindrop, because I am so thankful to have this as a tool in our toolkit. So hope y'all have a good one.